Dear students, good morning. Today we are going to discuss on theory paper 13th A pisciculture. Pisciculture means a raising of fish on a commercial basis in fish tanks, ponds or ocean enclosures. First, we should know what is meant by fish. Fish is a aquatic gnathostomes having a gill for respiration and fins for locomotion. The purpose of pisciculture or rearing of fish, as we know that fish is a rich source of proteins, vitamins and minerals. India is the third position in the world with total fish production. Through this fish, we are getting the proteins, vitamins, calcium, polyunsaturated fatty acids that protection against cardiovascular system. So, in this way, that pisciculture is a very important curriculum that only not gives you a food, nutritious food, but with the help of that piscicultures, various peoples are getting the jobs. And throughout the world, the millions of peoples are involved in this pisciculture process. In pisciculture paper, there are 4 units. In unit 1, 2 chapter. First, fish farm engineering. In fish farm engineering, while rearing of fish or for the rearing of fish, there is required different type of ponds or tanks. Before constructing that farm, we should consider the topography, soil type, water supply of that particular area where we are planning to construct the fish farm. First, topography. Topography means the surface feature of the land. Surface feature of the land, whether that land is plain or valley shaped. Then soil type. Soil is important components in the construction of fish farm. So soil should be water retention soils. That soil should be hold the water. Then water supply. So water is the important component in rearing of fish. So water supply should be perennial. Throughout the year water should be available there. Then next, layout of fish farm. Once we studied that topography, soil type, water supply, then we consider the layout of fish farms. In layout of fish farms, for the rearing of fish require different type of ponds. So we are first making the layout of that fish farms. According to that, we are making a provision for different type of ponds for the rearing of different stages. Next, fish farm management. Preparation and management of nursery pond. In rearing process, that require different type of ponds for the development of the different stages. That nursery pond is a small pond that is required for the or that is used for the rising of fry, hatchlings to fry. In that nursery pond, 15 days that hatchlings are grow and then attain a size of a fry. Rearing pond mainly used for the rearing of fry up to the fingerless stage. In that rearing pond, that fish seed is cultured for 3 to 4 months. So that durations that attain the fry to fingerling size. Next pond is the stocking ponds. In stocking ponds, then that fingerlings are rearing into the stocking ponds. So preparation and management of that ponds is required before the stocking of seeds. Fertilization of that ponds, removal of the aquatic insect, removal of aquatic weeds, that preparation is done before the release of fish seed. So these 3 ponds, they are very important for the rearing of different developing stages of the fish. In its second, first chapter is biology of indigenous and exotic carps. In a fish farm, we are selecting such type of species which is a high growth, that not compatible with for the food, they can easily accept the food, artificial food. So for that conditions, the Indian major carps, that is the important fish species which is generally used in the fish farms or used for the rearing in the fish tank or fish farm, and exotic carps. So along with that indigenous carp, some of the species they are imported from the outside the country, and that species they are well acclimatized in our climate. So that species in India, the main exotic carps, they are the Chinese carps, grass carp, silver carp, and common carp. These are the 3 exotic carps. And indigenous carps, Indian major carps. So biology of that fish we should first know before they use for the rearing purpose. Fish seed resources. So for artificial rising of fish, first we require the pure seed of that species. So the sources of seeds, they are natural resources. So these species, they are generally bred in the riverine condition, in natural conditions. So we find the breeding location of that fishes, and from that breeding grounds we are collecting the seeds for the natural resources. Then artificial resources, induced breeding by hypophyton. So that species we are breed artificially in the captivity or in the control conditions. So we get the pure seeds, or as and when we require the seed, we can breed that fishes and we'll get the fish seeds by artificial resources. Induced breeding means by we are giving the hormones or injecting the hormones to the fish, and that hormones stimulate that fish for the spawning or breeding process. That we call as one of the important technique is the hypophyton techniques. In hypophyton techniques, the pituitary gland extract is injected to the fish, brooder fish, so that fish gets stimulated and spawning takes place. So historical background. First, we are studying the historical background of that induced breeding or hypophyton techniques. Technique of induced breeding, which top techniques is used. Bun breeding, there is another type of breeding techniques, bun breeding. Chinese hatcheries, that is a special type of circular hatcheries, spawning tanks are prepared, and that is in artificial conditions, that is very useful for the stimulation of fish for the breeding purposes. Stripping methods. In stripping methods, some of the brooders fish species, they cannot really their gametes outside the body easily. So we can press their abdomens forcefully and force the eggs to come out their bodies. That is stripping method. Transportation of fish seed and brooders. We transport the seed from the breeding ground to the fish farms, and we can collect the brooders from the natural resources into the fish farm. So how that seeds are transported and brooders are transported. Then next chapter, that is a capture fishery. In capture fisheries, we are just harvesting the fish from the natural resources. In capture fisheries, mainly we are studying the sardine fisheries, mackerel fishery, and Bombay duck fishery. These are the marine fishes through the oceans. On the large scales, that fishes are harvested. In sardine fishery, mainly that consists of the main species, that is Sardinella longiceps. On the large scale, that fish are harvested. So that is a sardine fisheries. In mackerel fisheries, the Rastriliger canagota, and in Bombay duck fishery, Harpedon neris. So these are the common species. They are harvested on a large scales. So on their name, that fishery is called as a sardine fishery, mackerel fishery, and Bombay duck fishery. In unit third, fishing methods. For harvesting of fish, various type of gears and crafts are used. Gear means different type of nets. So net is required for the capturing the fish or for harvesting of the fish. So different type of nets, that is called as gears. So different type of net, that trap, gill net, cast net, drag net. Crafts, that is a device to used to operate big nets, boat and ships. So crafts is a device that is used for operating the nets in the oceans or in the sea for harvesting of fish. A large type of nets are spread in that water. So for that operations, that required boats or ships. So that device is called as a crafts. Then recent advancement in fishing methods, electrical fishing, light fishing, and fish finders. Now that traditional methods are not used. In recently, for the large scale harvesting of fish, that recently developed technique is used electrical fishings by using the low voltage electric currents, light fishing by using different type of colors that attract the fish. So different type of light is used for attracting the fish, and fish finders. Now that technique is developed. With the help of that fish finder, we can find the location of fish. And once we find the location of fish, we can capture that fishes by using the nets, fish finder. So these advanced techniques developed. The next chapter is unit third, that fish diseases. Like all other animals, fish are also attacked by various parasites. Their symptoms and treatments: the bacterial diseases, fungal diseases, protozoan diseases, helminth, arthropod. These are the that causes the disease in fish. The parasitic diseases. Then second is the non-parasitic diseases. In non-parasitic disease, environmental fish diseases that caused due to the chemical changes in the water, acidosis is a too high acidic condition, alkalosis, too high alkaline conditions, and gas bubbles that due to causes the supersaturation of oxygens. And next is the nutritional and dietary diseases that causes due to the diet, which diets we are giving the fish. Artificially we are providing the diet to the fish. So due to that diets, there is imbalances in the diet that also causes various diseases into the fish. So that is the non-parasitic disease, environmental fish disease and nutritional fish diseases. In chapter unit 4, first chapter is fish preservation and processing. So fish preservation, a very important, it is very important because fishes are quickly perishable or spoiled. When on large scale fish are captured, so for the long period preservations, their preservation should be important, and that done with the help of various methods: chilling, freezing, drying, smoking. These are the different methods of fish preservation. By using these preservation methods, we can keep the fish in a fresh condition for the long periods. We can use in the for the further or for the in the future use or for transportation of fish. So that preservation process is very important. If you are not preserve that fish, they can get very soon spoiled. Then fish byproducts. On large scale capture fishes, so remaining the distasteful fishes or the materials discarded during the fish processing, that is used for to produce the byproducts. Means non-edible parts, unconsumable parts, that maybe there are the skin, fins, scales, that is used for the production of fish byproducts. And that byproducts consist of the fish meal, fish manure, fish protein, isinglass, fish glues, leather. So different type of byproducts are produced by the raw material of that fish or unedible parts of the fish or those fishes having a less edible value. From that fishes we can make the byproduct, and these byproducts they are used for the feeding of in the cattle feeds, in the industries, so that products are used. So each and every part of fish is converted into the useful forms. These are the few important books. You can use this book for the reference purposes. Thank you. Dear students, if you have any doubt, you can ask me on the mobile or you can give your comments through the WhatsApp. Thank you.